Hi everyone, welcome to a Chandler's channel. I'm Tracy and I'm your host. Today's topic is, well, it's actually our weekly reading for April 15th to 21st, 2013. Now, we did our last week's reading and that one was on learning how to rest, and he wanted us to rest. So I know for myself that it's been definitely a rest week for me. I've been staying home, staying out of the malls. I've been staying away from the television, loud noises, just sort of tinkering about, keeping to myself, getting outside as all part of the rest. At the beginning of the week, I kind of had a hard time coming down, but I just kept pursuing it, and today I feel, rested and getting better, and that's how it can sort of go. It can take a bit to come down when you're so go and busy, but just keep at it. Get outside and stay away from stimulating stuff, TVs, noise, malls. Oh my God, you could go on and on. But that's not what this video is about. So I'll continue on here with our weekly reading for April 15th to 21st. So let's go get Whitehawk and see what he has to say. Indeed, he says. Rest, 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 he says. It is fuel for the soul, he says, if you forgot me saying that last time. He says, and if you did not, he says, I invite you, he says, to visit that video or visit that teaching, he says. I'm like, ooh, thanks, Whitehawk, for, helping me out here, promoting me. He goes, well, I am promoting us, am I not? And I'm like, yes, you are. And oh my gosh, I'm going to start to yawn again. This is crazy. If you've watched my last 3 videos on, not last 3, but in 3 of my videos, because this is going to be the third one, where I yawn my way through because it's about resting and coming down and stuff like that. And I'm going to start to yawn again, so. Oh, that's absolutely crazy. He says, but yes, the answers are in the rest, my child. The answers are in the rest. I cannot express this anymore. And I'm like jobbing. I'm like, all right, the weekly reading. He goes, indeed. He goes, the weekly reading. I am giving you your weekly reading. He says, I told you at the beginning of the month that through rest, one will get productivity. He says, and so I am teaching you, I am showing you how to get rest, and how indeed it can then still be a very productive time. Okay, so we're all just like, okay, here we go, rest, rest, rest. At least I know me, Tracy, I'm like, yep, rest, rest, rest. And he says, yes, indeed, rest, rest, rest. People do not take the time out, he says, as to so-called smell the roses, he says. One must smell the roses, he says, to fully understand, he says, to fully get the message, to understand, to get the message, he says. One must rest, for the messages cannot come through if the line is always busy. Can it? And he goes, ancient Chinese secret, huh? And so this is Whitehawk's and my little thing. He'll say ancient Chinese secret to me, and that comes from a commercial, I think that was in about the 1970s. I'll have to look for it on YouTube. And it takes place at a laundromat. And the laundromat, now keep in mind, this is the 1970s, and in the laundromat, it's owned by a Chinese man, and the Caucasian woman comes in with her clothing, asking him, how do you get my, clothing so clean and so bright? And he says, oh, Mrs. Smith, ancient Chinese secret, he says to her. And then she forgets something, so she goes to the back, but he's gone because he's left the front, and so she follows him to the back, and she goes and opens up a drape. And in the back, there they are cleaning with this detergent you can buy off the shelf. I think it was like ABC detergent or something like that. I'll have to double check. But then she retorts to him, ancient Chinese secret, huh? So it's not. It's all very available to us all. It's not a magical trick. It's simple, it's easy, it's accessible to us all. So that's what ancient Chinese secret means. And I'm sorry, I've completely taken away from Whitehawk. He goes, no. He goes, that is okay. He goes, you need to explain when you need to explain. And he says, indeed, there's nothing derogatory about that, he says. So he says, to just continue, what I will say to you is that there's much importance and much to be learned about resting, he says. When we rest, he says, we allow for the good to come through and for the bad to so-called get up and walk away, he says. So for this week, he says, what I'm saying to you is that, again, it will be a very restful week. And he says, if you notice in this one's voice, meaning me, Tracy, he says, you can hear the fatigue, you can hear the tired, he says. You can see it coming up in her that she is resting, and with that comes this raunchiness of a voice. He says, but it will leave, for she'll be rested, and she will have more energy to continue forth in her life and all that she enjoys doing, all that gives her pleasure. But if she did not rest, she would be too pooped to party, he says. So for you, my friends, this week again is a big week of rest. He says there is nothing unusual about it. He says it is simply just a week of rest. So if you are disappointed, I am sorry, he says, but this is where we are at. So be blessed in your rest. God bless. Oh, and I'm going to yawn. So, sorry, pardon me. So I guess it's another week of rest, which is great because I love my naps, I have to tell you. I'm a big napper, so here's to napping. So that is our weekly reading for April 15th to 21st. No matter whether you're disappointed or not, it is what it is. Subscribe, leave a comment, keep it clean, be kind. Like, share this video for the importance of rest. It is a simple message, but once again, it is a powerful message. So join us next week for our weekly reading, and browse the archives for our readings that we've done on the spring equinox, we've done on mental health, we've done on Easter, and leave a comment of any topics you would like us to cover. So have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week. God bless. I'm Tracy for a Channeler's Channel.